All right.
November 14th, 2022. Please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Kent?
Here.
Mr. Hebert? Here. Mr. Sampson?
Here.
I'll start with my introduction today. The Director of the Senior Center, Jim Henshaw. Our Park Supervisor, Todd Schaefer. Our Fire Chief, Chief Andy Frost III. Our Police Chief, Bob Gavalier. Our Zoning Inspector, Darren Crivelli. Our Township Administrator and Road Superintendent, Mike Dockery. To the left of me is our Fiscal Officer, Lori Wolf. To the right of me is our Austintown Township Trustee, Steve Kent. And to the left of me is Austintown Township Trustee, Robert Santos. And I am Austintown Trustee, Monica Devers. I have a motion to approve minutes of the regular meeting on October 24th, 2022, and a special meeting on October 28th, 2022.
So moved.
Mrs. Beaver?
Yes.
Mr. Santos?
Yes.
Mr. Peck?
Yes.
And at this time, we are presenting a ribbon rescue for Chance Hanshaw. So we're going to skip that right now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then the next we need to hear from Mike Dockery, please.
Okay, two things. One, under the road department, you see the OPWC authorizing legislation. The reason for that is because the OPWC committee, led by Mahoney County Engineer Pat Giannetti, approved our $225,000 grant request for resurfacing grant. So this legislation, along with other documentation, has to be sent online to OPWC, I think by December 15th, I believe. So, and this is the exact language that they ask us, as someone who's been granted a grant, to pass. So you can do that just per the agenda. And then under new business, we received a lease agreement from the state of Ohio from ODOT in the event that we go forward with 2 signs on their right-of-way in the future.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve per agenda OPWC authorizing legislation. And we need a motion in new business per agenda, letter A.
I'll second it. I want to open it for discussion.
Or the first one?
The second one.
Okay, let me take one. Mr. Santos?
Yes.
Mr. Peck?
Yes.
Mrs. Beaver?
Yes.
I'm not one to start drama, so I sincerely apologize, but I had to speak on this behalf of the lease agreement we're going to do with the state of ODOT. I, for one, am definitely all for these signs that we're going to do in Austintown. I just don't feel this is the appropriate time with our funding that's actually going on. Austintown itself is not in trouble. It's nationwide. Inflation is through the roof. Things are costing an arm and a leg. And I don't really feel that $40,000 on signs that even our fiscal officer says right now is not prudent for appropriate expenditure. Especially when we got unexplained or unpredicted expenses, such as we got 2 homes that have sinkholes in it, we got a culvert that needs repaired, we got a park that hasn't had a bathroom, appropriate bathroom, about 2 years, and those are unexpected expenditures. I don't feel that this is definitely something that we should be doing at this time, and we should definitely be putting on hold at least to the next year that we can revisit the budget. I know the signs were already approved. That's another discussion I'll do later on in the meeting, but I just wanted to put my opinion aside on why. I mean, I think the signs are a great idea, but right now with the way the fundings are, I can't, in good conscience, vote yes when we do the voting for things of this nature. That's all I have to say.
We had discussed this and we have asked for donations. And I feel if we wait any longer for this, the price of this project was just gonna go up. Everybody wants to enjoy Austintown. I think having a sign at this time would be a good thing. Even like Liberty has a sign, Poland has a sign, even, I can't think, North Jackson, they all have signs. I let you talk, so please.
No, I'm going to.
Okay, and we still can get donations on this. I have a feeling that Hollywood would help with this. I also have a feeling that, Greenwood
feeling's not good enough,
Chevrolet,
Monica.
and they will give us donations to help. We saved money this year, $9,000 a year. We saved in canceling a market person to help us with the market. We saved $9,000 a year. 9 times 4 is $36,000. These would be paid for in 4
This hole has been
years.
in this person's property for 2 years. How would you feel if we're spending 40 grand on signs when we got this?
We're gonna get
If it was my
donations.
property, we have them,
We're gonna
let's
get
put a
donations.
stipulation like we did in the last meeting, that will approve this with the understanding that we're getting a sponsorship, and it's not any funds used out of our general funds, which should be used to fix these issues right here in the township. It's not appropriate, it's not right.
Lake Milton has signs.
It doesn't
Everywhere
matter,
else
Lake
has
Milton
signs.
doesn't have sinkholes.
And like I said, oh, you don't know that for sure, Robert?
Well,
do you?
you know what,
Do
this
you
is
actually
Austintown,
know
I
that?
care about Austintown.
And you know what? This is the first time Robert Santos showed me these sinkholes, so make that on record too. Okay? So I think we should have them. I think Austintown would do a
It's a
benefit
misuse
from
of
it.
funds.
That is my personal opinion.
It's misuse of funds.
There's several misuses of funds according to you. Move forward. Anything else from the road department?
No.
I have a question for you. We started
Sure.
paving. Can you tell me where we started and what
Can
the
we have a vote on
circumstances
this?
on that?
When we get there.
They grinded 3 roads. I'm not sure they're gonna grind anymore because of the future forecast. They're going to attempt, if the air is 40 degrees and the ground is 40 degrees next week, to lay asphalt on those 3 roads. But I don't think they're gonna do any more than that.
Are we going to increase or take 250?
You know, they asked me about that. I told that would be something that would come before you guys when the project was completed next spring.
For a penalty, not doing it? All right.
Chief Cavalier.
I have nothing to add at this time.
Chief Fire Department.
Yeah, I'd ask for a motion per the agenda to deem the 1985 fire truck as, we want to get rid of it, and it has a value of less than $2,500. So per the agenda, I'd like for a motion and vote to be able to get rid of the truck. We will put it up on an online bidding auction site. So we'll go on there and I will get the word out of when that is and on what site that's going to.
So we need a motion to approve the 1985 Ford V803 TK with 32,566 miles. We have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Peck?
Yes.
Mrs. Beavers?
Yes.
Mr. Sampson?
Yes.
Zoning Department.
I'd ask the board to declare 4 properties of public nuisance under Ohio Vice Code 5.87. One on Amberley, one on Berkey, one on South, and one on zoning act. Fisher took a little chunk of the Berkey.
So moved.
The second.
Mr. Sampson?
Yes.
Mr. Peck?
Yes.
Mrs. Beavers?
Yes.
Okay, and as I previously advised the board, I'd like to move forward with another amendment to the zoning ordinance. And I sent the board an email about a week and a half ago to get input. But anyways, what I'm proposing is to update the definition section, update the enforcement section, But the meat and potatoes of this amendment is the business B1 and B2 districts. The B1 is professional services, non-retail. B2 is retail. I want to eliminate completely the B3 district. We don't have one now. I don't believe we've ever had one. And that district was geared more to neighborhood markets. And the closest example I could give to you, but I think the three of you are too young to probably remember, maybe you might, Steve, but the B3 would have accommodated something like Patsy Ann's area, Orkney and Berkeley, if you remember that. Okay, you don't remember that.
I'm old.
I wasn't going there.
I'm sorry for thinking you were younger.
I like that.
But anyways, there are no B3 districts, and that's part of the original zoning ordinance. And we have, in the late 80s, we adopted a land use plan which stipulates where we want certain types of businesses. So the whole concept of it goes against our land use plan. But anyway, we have none. I don't believe we ever had any. And I just want to eliminate that. And then the I1 and the I2 districts, just update that. And what's the big deal with the B1, B2, I1, I2? We're looking to get curb appeal, green space, and plant material to soften up the fronts of the building and then greatly improve the required buffering where business or industrial properties abut residential. Right now, the rear yard, the buffer for B1 up against residential is 5 feet. That's not adequate. In return, there's a cost for that when you increase green space. And the buffering will only kick in if you're abutting residential. It doesn't kick in if you're abutting business or commercial. But there's a cost to that to the business community, and also proposed in here is reducing parking ratios. So right now, it's one space for your gross 200 square foot. I'm proposing to make it one space for 80% of your gross square foot. So if somebody were doing a project on Mahoning or Campbell Mouse, whatever the cost of this green space and plant material, hopefully it will be offset by the reduced parking ratios. And especially within the business districts, without singling out any properties, which I don't want to do, but we've had a substantial project that was done, and it's been open probably 3 years. And when you drive by it, you see a paving, which we require. And I've never seen, more than 20 or 30 cars in the lot. So if you reduce that paving by 80%, put more green space out front and a bigger buffer in the back, which I think it's just a win-win for everybody. But anyways, I would ask the trustees to initiate this. That's all we're doing is initiating it. And then I'll forward this to the zoning commission. We'll go through the normal routine of public hearings at future dates. And you can just make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Motion to approve the resolution that was just approved. Presented by Darren.
So moved.
Mrs. Peter?
Yes.
Mr. Santo?
Yes.
Mr. Kent?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Darren, I'm going to ask you about the new burger place that's coming in the casino and what you know about it. And
Yeah, there's a Wahlburgers coming in. Anyway, the plans were approved for that probably 3 months ago. And it'll be fully contained within the casino.
okay, and then I have to ask you this because I get asked it every single day. The Denny's.
The Denny's.
Everyone wants to know what's going on with the Denny's, and as I know, there's been no permits and it has not changed on the auditors.
And
website.
as the township zoning inspector, I'm supposed to know the answers to these questions.
You
I'm
are.
clueless.
Okay.
Here's what I will speculate. There was a real estate sign up, and it's gone. My guess is that the real estate contract to sell that property expired, was not renewed. The corporate ownership has not changed on the auditor's website, which leads me to believe it hasn't been sold. And if it was sold, the commercial real estate company would have put a big sold sign on that for advertising. I know a national chain looked at that and a regional chain looked at it. And both walked away because the cost of retrofitting wasn't conducive for their business plans. It's possible, if it's gonna reopen, it could probably reopen as a Denny's. That would probably be the easiest thing for it to reopen as. I know the inside of the building needed some work based on talking to a representative of the regional company. But they've been doing some work there, which is a good sign. They have not submitted plans, and sometimes, you know, they're just not ready to submit. Or they just may be enhancing it to make it more marketable to sign with another real estate company to sell. But right now, there's no plans have been submitted to zoning. I don't believe fire and building has plans. So,
Appreciate that.
Walmart, sea containers.
yeah, Walmart made application, go before the Board of Appeals. And I have to schedule that hearing. I think they gave me everything I needed, I think, last week.
Okay,
So,
but they're just,
I
well, they're
think,
spilling into the parking lot.
yeah, and when I said, we originally approved, I think 15, and that was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, I think that there had to be in back or on the side.
Yeah, they do. And actually, they came in and talked to me after I had sent them the letter. And I swear, this is like the 4th different management team that I've talked to, because in years past, I've sent them letters, and it's just these two guys, you know, they just needed trailers. And somebody probably said, well, you know, we've always had them in the past. So it's a process. The board can grant them relief, or the board can tell them to get rid of them, but we'll give them their due process.
Thank you very much.
Keith, is he here now?
Yes,
We want to present a rescue ribbon to Chance Henshaw, Mr. Robert Gavalier. Keith, Robert Gavalier.
Fun aside.
Tonight, we, the Austintown Police Department, would like to present a rescue ribbon to Officer Hanshaw here. And rescue ribbon, ribbon is awarded to any employee whose actions result in rescuing human life from an extreme hazardous situation. And in the police department, the way an officer receives this is one of the supervisors have to recommend this award to the officer. And what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to read the recommendation from Lieutenant Holzel, and then I'm going to ask Lieutenant Holzel, Lieutenant Collins, and Chief Lambert from Lanes, and also the Fire Chief of Weathersfield Fire Department to come up here. I can try to speak and tell you what he did, but I sit behind a desk, and these guys are out there working with him, and they can tell you a lot better. So, but the recommendation was from Lieutenant Holzel. I'd like to consider awarding Patrolman Hanshaw a rescue ribbon for the event on 8/20 of 22. There was a felonious assault that occurred on North Meridian Road, where several individuals had been shot. Patrolman Hanshaw arrived on the scene first and began to render aid through the application of several chest seals and tourniquets to a wounded person, undoubtedly significantly increasing the person's chances for survival. As I watched his performance on body cam, he was in complete control of his emotions and moved without hesitation. And I talked to a couple other officers that watched the body cam, and they told me the same thing what Lieutenant Holzel said. Thought about bringing a body camera here tonight and showing it, but but at this time, if I can have Lieutenant Holzel, Lieutenant Collins, and Chief Lambert come up here. And I'm going to ask Lieutenant Holzel to speak first about, he's the supervisor, and his recommendation for Chance, his character, his family, and his training. Bill?
Well, you know, long before we can speak to Chance and how well he performed, there's a number of individuals. Normally, when we honor a law enforcement officer, this place is full with the contemporaries of that officer. It just so happens that They're unbelievably busy, and none of them can be here. It's not that they don't like him. They're just really busy. But there are a number of things that have gone on to make Chance the officer that he is. And as I survey the landscape, I see Lieutenant Collins and Lieutenant Scowen, who's typically Chance's turn commander. These officers mentor these young officers and bring them in a position to perform in the way that they do. They do an outstanding job, and I wish Lieutenant Scowen was here so I could point him out. I see over here Sergeant Delmont. Also very busy this evening is Sergeant Trilla. Those two handle our field training officers program, and they mentor and pour into these young officers who become Chance over the years of experience. I'd like to acknowledge them. But as heroic as these people are, there are some in the room tonight that are far more heroic than even Chance's. Jacqueline, would you stand up please for a moment? Holding Isabella and his son Hudson, the family of these officers who send them out into harm's way every night are far more heroic than those of us who do this because we love what we do. And so, thank you so much for sending him and giving him to us, the community of Austintown. This is not the first time that Officer Hanshaw has performed in these circumstances. You heard in my write-up that he was in complete control of his emotions and responded without hesitation. You can't imagine the unbelievably dynamic situations we find ourselves from time to time. They are uncommon. But this department is full of heroic people who do these things on a common basis. But every once in a while, there's an uncommon event among uncommon people. And that's what this was. And that's why we're honoring him this evening. His actions were the direct result of saving a human life. And that's an important thing. Congratulations.
Lieutenant Collins speaks also. He's the one that does the training for the tactical medical emergency care that the officers have to go through now every year. If we fail to render aid to someone, we can also be sued for it too. So now we go through this tactical medical training every year. Lieutenant Collins can explain more. He's a trainer in it.
So about 8 years ago, it was not uncommon to see law enforcement just get beat up day in and day out on the news. So we had approached the chief and trying to change our perception to our community. We weren't necessarily worried about the national, we were just worried about local. We wanted to ensure our residents of Austintown the high quality of training and dedication to our community. So with that, we approached the chief and explained to him that we wanted to further train our officers in terms of being on scene and not necessarily just standing there waiting for EMS, who does an outstanding job, to arrive, but to actually take the initiative. Because as we know in EMS, seconds mean everything. You can have an individual who's compensating and at any moment can decompensate, and when they decompensate, they will crash. And I know that because going into the field, I found it to be fascinating. So I transitioned from police work, I do EMS, I work under Chief Lambert as well through Lane Life Trans. So I find the profession very rewarding. So taking that training, initially self-aid buddy, taught through the Ohio Peace Officers Training Academy, and then advancing it through Tactical Emergency Combat Care, which is originally a result of tactical combat casualty care. You know, we learned in the military that a lot of our soldiers died in the field as a result of exsanguination or blood loss, severe trauma from blood loss, where they were not having tourniquets applied quickly and effectively, or died through some type of pneumothorax. So with that, we began teaching our officers that when you get on scene of an incident where you see an individual who's bleeding from a arterial bleed from an extremity, we teach them tourniquet, immediate tourniquet application, which our officers have done. In this case, Officer Hanshaw did apply a tourniquet to an individual who's bleeding from the femoral artery in his leg. The other individual was shot twice in the back. He applied 2 chest seals. The reason we do that is because we teach our officers any hole that God didn't put between the neck and the navel, it's a chest seal, because as a result, what's going to happen, you're probably going to develop a pneumothorax. And without getting into technical terms, which Medic Lambert, Chief Lambert will explain, we can't allow that. That was a nice little. So we teach our officers that chest seals, wound packing, tourniquets, because we try to recognize the fact that our officers are sometimes forced in these tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving situations where they have to react quickly. Because even as phenomenal as our fire and EMS do a great job, seconds mean life. So if they can actually provide that tourniquet and save an individual life, pack a wound, an arterial bleed in the junctional area, or put a chest seal on someone who is struggling to breathe because their lung has collapsed, we will greatly extend their survivability so that when EMS gets on scene, they can take over that higher level of care and then transport to the hospital and obviously increase their survivability. So that's all we do it for officers, because we owe it to our residents, we owe it to our officers, because as well, it's not uncommon that we train officers to recognize the fact that we can be the recipient of an individual who is determined to want to harm us. So we need to also recognize the fact that we need to take care of ourselves. And with that, we do our own training with our officers so they apply it to themselves as well as to our fellow officers who arrive on scene. So this is the training that we've dedicated to our officers and to our community to assure the highest level of care both to you, our residents, and to our officers.
Piggybacking on Lieutenant Collins' long story. He's right. Officer Hanshaw, I'm not going to get into the details of the call, but he had a very unusual situation when he got there, and he worked his way to both patients, and along the way he had to treat both patients to get to the second patient. He did an outstanding job. Our acknowledgement and our certificate, our life-saving award that we're presenting him does not supersede what this department gives him. It's just acknowledging that how much we appreciate it as EMS providers that they're willing to get involved, and how much those, as the other officer said, seconds and minutes count. It starts in the dispatch office, when they're taking a call, they're getting the right resources on the road, getting the EMS on the road, the fire on the road, the police on the road. They're already rolling on the road. They're usually a lot closer. Being able to get out and do what they did, I believe honestly made a difference in the outcome of these two men, that they're able to have Thanksgiving with their families this year. And we appreciate you. We want above and beyond. I just want to explain why everybody's wearing a beard here tonight. Officer Burridge, it's No Shave November, raising money for cancer, so we let our officers wear a beard in November, and then they always coerce me to wear it in December too, to raise money for kids. So.
That is correct.
Other than that, I want to present him with the rescue ribbon. It's like I'm asking for him to marry me. The rescue ribbon, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, we can go with Park Department, Todd Schaefer.
Last week, we closed down Wedgewood Park for the season. As well, we took down the tennis nets, the pickleball nets, and closed those courts up. We're going to try to get each of the satellite parks cut one more time before the season ends. Of course, that'll be weather pending, but we're going to try to get it cut one more time. Our new truck, we went and met with the salesman from Greenwood. Our truck has been ready for about 3 months, but it is stuck in Canada, and they have no idea when they're going to be able to get it out of Canada to deliver it to us. I have a feeling it's going to take quite a while. They wouldn't admit that, but that's the feeling I got. We're going to be waiting quite a while longer for the new truck. And our teeter-totter was finally installed last Tuesday. Not sure who's going to be able to enjoy it this year, but it'll be ready for next spring. And only other thing I got is wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Can you answer a question? Wedgewood Park, we closed it. Is that normal time that you close it?
Yeah, we usually close it every year, November 1st, and then we'll open it back up again in April.
Because there was remarks that we closed it early, and I didn't know how to answer that, so that's why I'm
It's
asking
closed-
today.
Yeah, it's closed November 1st
Every year,
Yes.
and that's been going on since,
Since I took over, we
Okay.
closed it November 1st.
anybody else have questions?
Todd, we are going to be receiving the Christmas trees again?
Yes, we will be getting Christmas trees again this year for the green team. We'll put the signs up probably next week to bring your live Christmas trees. ODNR takes those and puts them in local ponds and lakes for the fish habitat. So we'll have that up, the signs up next week. Please take all your decorations, tinsel and stuff off your live trees. No wreaths or garland, just your plain Christmas tree, live Christmas trees. You'll be surprised how many artificial we got.
Recycle.
Yeah, this might be you, Todd, or Mike, I don't know, between the two of you. Any word on that soil sample for the bathroom?
I have not heard
I
anything yet.
have a guy contacted me, he's coming here December 8th, I believe, Todd. Yeah, he's coming here December 8th to get the sample. Great.
We
Anything
get rid
else?
of the fourth one.
Yes.
Senior Center, Mr. Jim Henshaw.
Okay, got a couple things. We started a new chair aerobics and yoga class in the afternoon, which has gone over very well, because now the people who are addicted to bingo can now get involved in yoga and exercise programs, things like that. We'll have it right after yoga is over, so they can move right into that. That's working out pretty well. We did have a Instant Pot cooking class taught by Linda Bilby and myself, and that went over well, so they want more of those to come back again. And we're investigating the possibility of getting a portable bocce court that goes indoors. A lot of people have expressed an interest. It's a very fast-growing sport, and this is a portable one. It goes down into 2 little bags. You can put it up and take it down in no time flat. And we have the room for it. I've measured everything else, so we're looking into that possibly in the future. And it'd be a great winter activity in the afternoons as well. We also are looking at revisiting our gun safety class that we haven't had for a couple of years. We're looking to do it at the senior center using what is called a laser bullet. It's a regular bullet that goes in a regular gun, but it only shoots a laser beam at a target, and it teaches them basically what it doesn't make any noise, it doesn't put holes in anything, so it works out pretty well from that perspective. And sadly, I've got to give you a reminder. That time of year is rolling around again when snow falls from the sky. So if the Austintown schools are closed because of the weather, the Austintown Senior Center will also be closed. So watch your TV. If it says the Austintown schools are closed, then we will be closed as well. It's an easy way to find out if we're open or not. I know sometimes I'll come in the morning on a day we're closed and the phone's ringing off, are you open? I said, no, the school's open. No. Well, then we're not open either. So please remind if the Austintown, for weather. Now, you know, that Christmas breaks and things like that, it doesn't count. If it snows during that period of time, too much to open the senior center, I will let the TV stations know and they'll put it up on the screen. But normally the best way is if the schools are closed for weather, we're closed. That's it.
Do either of you have anything for Jim?
Thanks.
Where are you up, our fiscal officer?
I just have my report this month, and then that resolution for the budget commission for next year.
So, motion to accept October 2022 report submitted to the board for review. Fund status, revenue status, and appropriation status. Resolution accepting the amounts and the rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levy and certifying them to the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Is that for the first one or the second?
For both.
Are you for both too, Robert?
Yeah, I second it.
Okay.
Mrs. Devers?
Yes.
Mr. Santos?
Yes.
Mr. Cap?
Yes.
Motion to approve agreement between the State of Ohio Department of Transportation, Austintown Township Board of Trustees to develop, plan, construct, install, and maintain a local government community gateway monument landscaping project at the interstate of State Route 11 in Mahoney Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cap?
Yes.
Mrs. Devers?
Yes.
Mr. Santos?
No.
At this time, we'll take public response, and that would be on camera. So anyone that would like to come and speak on camera, you're welcome to at this time. Anyone on camera? Off camera? At this time, we'll take remarks from the board members, and that will be,
I just want to thank Ron Latone and Latone Tent Company for donating their 20 by 20 tent for the holiday market yesterday. Ron does a great job donating pretty much what we ask him, he donates. So I just want to reach out and say thank you to him. Congratulations to Coach Parker and the Falcons on a great season. They ended up with a loss last Friday against Akron St. Bees. It was a great game, but they just fell a little short. That's all I have.
Robert?
To piggyback on what Mr. Kent said, obviously the market was great. I'm going to pronounce these names wrong, but the Honor Society actually assists us on the market, and I'm going to destroy these names, so I apologize. Ella Holbrook, Mara Glass, Nick Paul, Mr. Brown, Michael Carteras, Lucas Wayland. I got all these names down. I'll make sure Mrs. Wolf has them to put them down appropriately. Thea, Feliciano. And then my son as well, Timothy, he actually was with me the whole entire day from 6:30 in the morning till whenever we left, which was like 5 o'clock. So I definitely want to give my son a shout out as well. If you guys don't know, we're going to have a Christmas tree lighting again December 1st. I think Chief Frost at 7 p.m. We're doing it at station number 2. Joyce Brogan is obviously doing a great job with the Juniors Women's League. You guys are definitely make it a great fun-filled event. Definitely something that you guys should go and see. The last thing was, this is how democracy works. We can't always agree on everything. We can't. We're gonna butt heads, we're probably gonna throw shoes and stuff later, but when it's all said and done, we move on, we move forward, we get what needs to get done for Austintown. We can't always agree for anything. There's gonna be some things I present that Monica's gonna agree with, that she's gonna disagree with, or vice versa, and however mixed match ways you want to do the three of us. So, I mean, yeah, I'm all for Austintown, we all are, but we're never going to agree. That's why there's 3 of us, odd numbers, so that way, hey, you know, I may not agree with what happened, but we respect the vote. I definitely respect it. I'm sure the other 2 do as well. And we just move forward from there. So thank you guys for coming. It's a late night. It's like, what time is it now? 6:40. It's the longest meeting we've had for a while. So thank you guys, and hope you understand there's no hard feelings. We're going to work with each other. Hopefully, if not. If you guys hear any loud noise in the back there, it's probably me running through a wall or something. But it's just how democracy works. It's great. It's definitely something that has to happen, otherwise it's just, it can be anarchy if you do, so. That's it.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
go ahead. I'm
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
We will.
Will we have a meeting for it, after or before?
It's after Thanksgiving.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna let me do that.
I wanted to throw one in.
Ditto to Robert. We were not all gonna agree, but I just want you to know, when I ran for trustee, I'm looking at this as a business. I would never put us in a position where I think that we would not be able to do this. Everybody wants to enjoy Austintown and make it look nice, okay? Robert spends a lot of time on that bridge cleaning it, and it didn't cost us anything, and you're correct, but I just think that it would look nice for Austintown, and I think the residents would be able to enjoy it. You can say, hey, the sign's get off 11, says Austintown Township. The price of it, he had mentioned, is $40,000. That's a lot of money. But next year, it'd probably be 60. Okay, just like our roads, it's $100 and some thousand, and next year it's gonna probably be 25% more. So if we're gonna do this, the best time would be now. And that's why my vote is yes. And he's right, we're not always gonna agree on things. I agree with him sometimes, I agree with him sometimes I don't agree with either one of them. But that's the way this is gonna work out, and I think that this would be a good idea to try. And I will try to get donations for it too. I do, I wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, enjoy your family. It was so nice at the Township Park. The countdown to market, we countdown to Christmas, yeah. The countdown to Christmas, it was nice, well, we had a countdown to the market,
Oh, yeah,
it's coming
it
up,
was there.
we're gonna have that come up in April. But, we had a lot of people and a lot of nice crafters, and I thank every single one of you that went out there and supported Austintown and supported the craft show. I appreciate that. You spent too much money?
My wife did too, so it's okay.
I just want you to know, I appreciate everybody supporting it. It was very nice, and it's nice to have stuff out there in the park. Everybody have a nice Thanksgiving. Motion to recess to executive session for the following: to consider the appointment, employment, discipline, or compensation of public employees.
Second.
Mr. Ketchum?
Yes.
Mrs. Beaver?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.